Here are 10 events that took place on June the 4th in history. On June 4th, 713 CE, the Byzantine official Artemius was elevated to the throne after the deposition and blinding of Emperor Philippicus. Upon taking power, he took the name Anastasius II and initiated administrative measures to stabilize the empire's defenses. He ordered the restoration of the capital's fortifications, reorganized military provisions, and directed the fleet to prepare for renewed Arab naval activity. His accession marked a rapid shift in imperial leadership during a time of internal unrest and external pressure on the empire's eastern frontier. On June 4, 1411, King Charles VI of France issued a charter granting the people of Roquefort Soulzon exclusive rights to mature Roquefort cheese in the region's natural limestone caves. The decree formalized a local practice that had existed for generations and established legal protections for the method of production. The monopoly regulated who could produce the cheese, how it could be aged, and where the ripening process was permitted. The charter became one of the earliest documented examples of controlled designation of origin in European food history. On June 4, 1525, residents of Kent and Sussex entered Bayham Old Abbey in opposition to Cardinal Thomas Wolsey's plan to dissolve the monastery and redirect its income. The group occupied the site for several days, preventing officials from carrying out the suppression order. The action reflected local resistance to the early stages of monastic closures and the redistribution of ecclesiastical property. The confrontation ended only after royal representatives arrived to remove the occupants and enforce the dissolution. On June 4, 1561, lightning struck the wooden spire of St. Paul's Cathedral in London, igniting a fire that spread rapidly through the upper structure. The blaze destroyed the spire, melted the bells, and damaged portions of the nave roof. The loss altered the cathedral's appearance for the remainder of the Tudor period, as the spire was not rebuilt. The event prompted repairs to the roof and interior and contributed to later discussions about the building's structural condition prior to the Great Fire of London. On June 4, 1615, Tokugawa forces captured Osaka Castle, bringing the siege of Osaka to an end and eliminating the remaining opposition of the Toyotomi clan. The final assault breached the castle's defenses and sustained bombardment and close quarters fighting. The fall of the stronghold resulted in the death of Toyotomi Hideyori and the consolidation of Tokugawa authority across Japan. The victory marked the completion of the unification process and the beginning of a prolonged period of stability under Tokugawa shogunate. On June 4, 1745, Prussian forces under Frederick II engaged Austrian and Saxon troops near the Hohenfriedberg during the War of Austrian Succession. The Prussian army launched an early morning attack that broke the Allied lines and forced a retreat. The battle resulted in significant losses for the Austrian-Saxon force and strengthened Prussia's position in Silesia. The outcome contributed to the broader strategic advantage Prussia held during the later stages of the conflict. On June 4, 1783, Joseph and Jacques Montgolfier conducted a public demonstration of their hot air balloon in the town of Annonay, France. The balloon rose to a considerable height and remained airborne for several minutes before descending. The demonstration marked one of the earliest flights of a lighter-than-air craft and attracted attention from scientific societies and government officials. The event led to further experiments that culminated in the first manned balloon flights later that year. On June 4, 1792, Captain George Vancouver formally claimed Puget Sound for Great Britain during his expedition along the Pacific Northwest coast. The crew surveyed the waterways, charted the surrounding landforms, and recorded the region's navigational features. The act of possession was part of Britain's broader effort to document and assert territorial interests in the area. The expedition's maps became the foundational references for later European and American exploration. On June 4, 1896, Henry Ford completed the first test drive of his gasoline-powered quadricycle in Detroit. The vehicle, built with a lightweight frame and a two-cylinder engine, traveled through the city streets during the early morning hours. The successful run demonstrated the viability of Ford's design and provided the basis for his subsequent mechanical refinements. The quadricycle became an early milestone in Ford's development of practical automobiles. On June 4th, Russian forces under General Alexei Brusilov launched a coordinated attack against Austro-Hungarian positions near Lutsk, opening the Brusilov offensive on the eastern front of World War I. The operation employed simultaneous assaults along a broad front, breaking through defensive lines and capturing large numbers of prisoners. The offensive inflicted severe losses on the Austro-Hungarian army and forced Germany to divert reinforcements. It became one of the most consequential Russian operations of the war. Those were 10 events that took place on June 4th in history. If you would like to see more of such content, please like this video and subscribe to my channel.